The former Victoria's Secret mogul's lawyer was caught on hot mic, threatening to kill Wexner if he continued with long-winded answers. The remark came during Wexner's testimony before the House Oversight Committee as part of its ongoing probe into Epstein's criminal network. Wexner, who has long been linked to Epstein, denied any personal involvement in the financier's crimes, claiming he had severed ties with him in 2007 after discovering Epstein's financial misdeeds. Despite his previous claims of innocence, Wexner's lawyer's ill-timed comment added a strange moment of levity to the otherwise tense proceedings. The committee had released the full deposition to ensure transparency in the ongoing investigation into Epstein's activities and his associations with prominent figures, including Wexner. Wexner's testimony also touched on his business dealings, his former ties with Epstein, and the controversial relationship between Epstein and U.S. President Donald Trump. Now for this, we welcome retired Lieutenant Colonel Himanshi Singh. She's a Defense and International Relations Analyst, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now looking at this, it seems like it's a warning to me. Do you think this is normal for a lawyer to threaten his client like this, especially someone so big or elite like this in a hot mic?
Good morning, Asuma. So good to see
you.
See, when we are dealing with people like Epstein, so anything, every word is a landmine. So when we talk about this Jeffrey Epstein scandal, we are not merely revisiting a criminal case. We are confronting a systematic failure of power, influence, and accountability. And when his lawyer says something like this, it's not just a flippant remark, because he may be saying it very jokingly out of desperation, because he has been giving very long answers. But see, let's understand, it underscores a very, very sensitive and extremely, delicate surrounding in the case, where high-profile billionaires whose financials and personal relationships with Jeffrey Epstein, they are under scrutiny. They appear defensive or overly managed during depositions. So this reinforced public suspicion. So see, let's remember that Les Wexner was once Epstein's prominent ally, and Epstein has sweeping power of attorney over his finances. So that relationship is not peripheral, and this is central to the understanding that how Epstein embedded himself into the elite circles. So when we understand that, the lawyer is saying that do not give long answers, or, you are just annoying. So these are very dangerous for the legal team trying to keep a lid on decade-long association. This shows the pressure these people are in, because when they are on off camera, they try, they inadvertently drop the mask. And this reveals that how much stage management is still being done, despite so much of facts coming out. And record shows that, it is not just about association, it is about overlapping social circles. But as of now, see, no substantial evidence of criminal wrongdoing has come out. But still this association is very, very thick. And there are, broader repercussions of this, because every deposition, every leaked mic moment reinforces the perception that powerful operate with insulated legal system. See, we know social media moves faster than judicial proceedings. So every evidence in court may need a higher threshold, but a public discourse is much lower. So these are not about individual guilt. They are there to expose, how the transnational elites, financiers, royalties, politicians, celebrities, they share a special space. And there are deeper questions about vetting and moral blind spots, and these are actually covered by silence. So when such things come out, I think every failure, every moment like this, it shows us that the association has to be scrutinized. And in intelligence and geopolitical surroundings, we must know that we undergo something known as network mapping. So in public domain, if you are trying to cover something like this, then every association becomes very, very suspicious. So we have to see that, such dropped mic moments are more, so that people get to know that how much they're trying to cover it up.
Yes.
Asuma.
Yes, we will be eyeing that. Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel, for sharing that. Please stay with us as we stay on this. Now, newly released documents from the U.S. Department of Justice have shocked the internet, with the name of pop icon late Michael Jackson appearing in connection with late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. While this has sparked speculation online, investigators have found no evidence linking Jackson to Epstein's criminal activities. The documents include photos, contacts, and records showing Jackson's name in Epstein's address book, but there's no proof of illegal activity. A viral email mentioning Jackson in 2013 is being interpreted as a mistake, with no new evidence emerging. There's a photo of Jackson with Epstein, but it has been reported that their meeting was extremely short and completely professional. Apart from that, the singer appears in passing in the Epstein files with no direct mention. One Michael Jackson that does appear numerous times in the Epstein files appears to be someone related to interior decoration who was working on his kitchen. Jackson passed away in 2009, years before Epstein's activities became public. He had never spoken publicly about Epstein as well, as per reports. Now we welcome back retired Lieutenant Colonel Himanshi Singh. Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel, for staying with us. Now, of course, not every name which appears means that it or they were involved in, Epstein's illegal activities, of course, including towards children and minors and girls and women. So, now that it's very kind of clarified or cleared that Michael Jackson wasn't involved in such, but still, of course, this will issue conspiracy theories and all that. How do you think, how should media represent these kind of news so that we balance out, and while we is telling the truth?
Asuma, media tries to sensationalize everything that is given to them. And we know Michael Jackson has always been surrounded by mystery, even when he was alive and even when he died. Later on also, there were many conspiracy theories were coming out. So the mention of Michael Jackson in Epstein files serves as a cautionary tale, of viral versus reality. So while his name appears in the logs, photographs, it highlights the difference between contact and culpability. So when police is trying to vet the logs and other documents, let's understand that there is a paper trail or photographs which are mentioning about Jackson, but there is not necessarily that he has participated in some sort of crime, because the narrative which goes viral is something people like to listen, and that is something that is being done here, that linking Michael Jackson to Epstein. But the fact of the matter is that record may show the paper trail, contact listings, photographs, possibly overlapping the social circuits also, because sometimes you go in a party and you just get to meet a person, you click some pictures. But since the so much of murk has flown all around, there's so much of crisis which is happening around Epstein file, that any name which is coming out gets under scrutiny. So even if there is no substantial evidence of criminal wrongdoing tied to Michael Jackson in this connection, however, since high-profile scandals, they involve figures like Epstein, even association becomes weaponized. So social proximity gets conflated with complicity, and digital virality amplifies the information, incomplete information. So once a name that trends globally, reputation damage are irreversible. So even if evidences are thin, the damage is already done. Asuma.
Yes, indeed, we will be like that. Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel, for sharing that insight with us on NewsX World. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now, moving on to UK. British police are now contacting the former and serving royal protection officers who may have information about Former Prince Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the former prince, following his arrest. The arrest comes amid scrutiny over his ties with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Meanwhile, Thames Valley Police has searched a mansion recently occupied by Mountbatten-Windsor in the Windsor estate in connection with allegations that he may have shared confidential government information while serving as a British trade envoy. The former prince, who's 66 years old, was questioned over accusations of misconduct in public office, which carries a maximum life sentence if proven. The Metropolitan Police said officers are being asked whether anything they saw or heard while providing protection to Mountbatten-Windsor is relevant to ongoing reviews. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has not been charged as of now and denies wrongdoing. Now we welcome back retired Lieutenant Colonel Himanshu Singh. Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel, for staying with us. Now, if these allegations of misconduct in public office is pursued, what could this mean for the boundaries between royal duties and government responsibilities? And could it prompt reforms on how members of the royal families are appointed to official roles, and what will be the implications then?
See, we have seen Prince Andrew already facing reputational collapse following the civil litigation that was filed earlier against him by Virginia. So he has been denying the wrongdoings, and he had reached a settlement without any admission of liability, and public damage was profound. So now when, law enforcement inquiry has renewed this criminal case against him, so there are important things that investigators are trying to corroborate the movements of access logs, travel records, and security and platforms. Because the high-level environment, especially involving royalty, there are logs which are maintained by officers, and these officers are bound by Official Secrets Act. So they may not say anything, but once the documents come out and they are there for evidence, the public reputation of Andrew and his wrongdoings will also come out. And if we see the broader perspective here, see, the royal monarchy, it rests on moral authority, and somewhere people try and look them up in very high esteem. So once we know that his association with Epstein was not just social. They intersect at a junction where business and international engagement were done. So this is a diplomatic implication, and public has already, witnessed royal restructuring. People are trying to find out that these are somewhere transparent, and actually the legal things are come out because see, the entry-exit points where officers were maintaining logs. So these things can substantiate, even if Andrew doesn't like to cooperate or cooperates very little with the law-abiding authorities. And somewhere, it's not about individual guilt. It is all about institutions where the digital evidence speaks much more than what people are speaking. It will definitely have implications, not just inside the UK, but internationally in geopolitics also. Once things are unearthed, it will have a lot of implications, Asuma, which is not going to be good for the current demographical environment in the world.
Yes, indeed. And do you think this, the arrest that we saw yesterday or day before, does this signal a shift in how British institutions approach accountability for royals?
Definitely, they are trying to make monarchs more accountable, because ultimately it is the public money on which such institutions are rested. So if people in authority, in the helm of affairs, they are doing wrong things, then somewhere public trust shifts. And investigators, they believe that this kind of scrutiny is very essential, because people hold chairs where they are influencing the diplomatic ties, the geopolitical association, the security, and everything. So everything from a friend to associate has to be scrutinized, because as I earlier said, the officials may not come out with things unless probed. They are bound by Official Secrets Act, and there are secret non-disclosure agreements. But Andrew has taken undue advantage of these things. He was bringing girls to the royal palaces. And somewhere, as we have seen his pictures with the girls, the way they are so bad that you cannot talk about it. So reputation of monarchy is already under threat. So these institutions, they rely on public trust, and I think documentary evidences will bring out the weight and the kind of wrongdoings which he had done. So definitely he has to face the law, and as I'm saying, monarchy will go for a downfall because of people like Andrew who have misused the chair they sat once in.
100%, we will be behind that. Thank you for highlighting that and joining us and sharing that throughout our news. Thank you very much. Now we move